What's up guys, Holden here, HMOB Fitness. So today we're going to go over the deadlift. So I've been showing you all these videos on, mobilizations for the hip, the QL, all those type of stuff. So now we're going to actually apply it, okay? And this is definitely going to be a little different than what you've been taught, okay? It applies laws of external rotation, torque's kind of when you add a rotational force to screw it in and keep it locked in place and it's stable. Okay, so this is what the setup is like. Okay, so first thing we're gonna prioritize our spine. Okay, how we do that is you squeeze your abs. Okay, it's important you maintain this the whole time. Okay, you cannot lose your spinal stability during the lift. You're gonna have extension and flexion moments, which will result in maybe a possible vertebrae slip or something. Okay, so you squeeze your abs first. Then from there, you turn your butt. So squeeze your butt as hard as you can. Okay, that will put your pelvis in a good position. And then squeeze your abs, which will kind of brace that position. And from there, you're gonna basically hinge over. Okay, don't round over. You need to hinge over. Okay, just like that. Okay, and so from there, basically what that's doing is putting your hip and spine. Basically, your glutes are gonna lock your hip in position, and your spine and your abs are gonna hold that. Okay, so basically your hips are in a really good position, so your spine will be in a good position. Okay, and we don't want to be rounding. We want to maintain everything and come straight down. Okay, so come up, squeeze your butt, abs, and you're gonna hinge over. Okay, and you grab the bar, and when you grab it, you want to get retention back in your hamstrings. So you're here, you want to push back, but while you're maintaining everything. Okay, it's very important to squeeze and hold your abs and butt the whole time. Okay, you cannot lose this position by any means. Okay, usually if I deadlift and I feel like I'm not strong enough, or if I'm not holding this strong enough, my abs, I'll just back off and just reset up. It's kind of a long process to set up actually, but you don't want to be injured. So once again, squeeze your abs, butt. From there you hinge over while maintaining your abs nice and tough. And then here comes the external rotation. So you squeeze and then you want to drive your knees out, not forward, out. What that's doing, that's screwing your femur into that hip joint, creating a really stable hip. Okay, so basically you're kind of locking the whole system down. So abs, squeeze your butt, hinge over, drive your knees out. From here, grab the bar, tension your hamstrings, so push your knees back, and then come. So basically, once you get retention, those hamstrings, you also want to drive those knees out. And so what you'll feel is you'll feel your hip rotators turn on, and that's what drive your knee out, create that rotation through your feet. Okay, so here it is, just the whole thing. So you come up, abs, butt, okay, fold over, not the spine but at the hip as a hinge. Okay, while you're doing that, you want to drive your knees out at the same time. Okay, so you're having a stable spine and creating external rotation. Then you pick it up, retension your hamstrings, and then from there you'll feel your hip rotators turn on, and then from there you do the pull. You need to maintain everything though. Okay, so the whole idea of the deadlift is to initiate a proper motor control. Okay, so when you're standing even, you need to think about turning your abs, your butt, okay, putting your hip in a good position, and then you're stabilizing your spine. Okay, good rule of thumb is try and keep these abs on 20% always. Okay, excuse me. So when you're standing, you want to try and squeeze your butt, abs, not only will that stabilize your spine and your hips, but it makes a good motor control pattern that when you're playing sports, you'll understand that, okay, if I can get my abs on, my butt on, you create pretty much a very stable person, human being. The whole system is kind of on lockdown. So when you're playing sports, you want to squeeze your abs, your butt, and I know you can't, if you do it, you can't, maintain that forever, let alone, let's say you're swimming or something. It's pretty hard to maintain all that stuff. And then secondly, external rotation. Okay, you want to externally rotate your shoulders. It creates a super stable shoulder. Okay, like when you're benching, you want to try and break the bar, and you can't, but you're going to initiate that rotation force in the shoulder. And external rotation, this is a good example. External rotation is, like a screwdriver. If you apply a force the other way, you're going to get tension. If you do it this way, it's going to be nice and loose. If you externally rotate, everything becomes super tight. Okay, same thing with your hip. You want to drive your knees out, create a rotational force. Same thing here, rotation. Okay, so apply that to your deadlift, squat, even when you're standing. Brace your abs, butt, squeeze, try and drive your feet into the ground, rotate them. Okay, and once again, with the spinal movement, we don't want specific locations of extension or flexion. It's okay to be what Kelly Starrett calls it globally flexed or globally extended, so the whole system is doing the same motion. But for the deadlift, for example, you don't want your head this way and then your back is in some sort of extension. Okay, we have the whole system, but we don't deadlift like that, so we need to keep this whole system. And I recommend doing this in a mirror. That's why I kind of regret not having just like a little mirror here or something, because you can look at your whole body and look at your spinal stability, see if it's in some sort of flexion, extension. So guys, just look at those steps again. Make sure you're squeezing your abs and butt, and it's hard to maintain those huge that glute maximus the whole time, but you always want to have the glutes, the rotators on or something, or the medius, max, minimus. That whole system needs to be trying to create that torque and squeezing. Okay, that retensioning in the hamstring basically just kind of puts that system and under a little more load, and you're stiff, which is good. You don't want to be doing a deadlift and you don't feel like you're stable. So the whole point of all this is to create a stable human while we're performing movements. So the external rotation puts the hip in a good socket, the abs squeezes the spine and puts it into a good position. So let's say maybe you had your spine in a little flexion before. Squeezing that, it's going to bring it into neutral, just stacked up. Okay, because if you're in a flex position, you're kind of relying on the tissues of your back. If you're in an extended position, you're kind of hanging out on the actual vertebra, which either or are not good. So squeezing the abs kind of brings that spine into neutral. See, if you don't have it, you're kind of broken. You squeeze up and down. Okay, but it's very important. A lot of people have, pretty much everyone has a weak glute dysfunction, kind of very weak glutes from sitting all day. So it's a good cue to squeeze that butt as much as you can. Good thing to do is just do it when you're standing. Brushing your teeth, doing the dishes, typing, and that creates a motor pattern, which is what we want. So right when you walk up to this deadlift, that's the first thing you do. Because if you're in a competition or something, let's say you're doing a deadlift, you don't want to just forget about that. So you want to literally get it in your nervous systems, in your brain, that I'm walking up to a bar or anything, or a barbell, anything of that sort, playing sports, basketball, I'm squeezing my butt and abs to maintain a stable body and creating that external rotation. So when you're benching, external rotate. When you're playing volleyball, you want to get your arm back, externally rotated. Even when you're jumping, same thing. Just drive your knees out. Look, that's a deadlift pretty much right there. I'm getting my arms back, and I'm going up and hitting. Okay. So there you go, guys. It's kind of a deadlift demo, but just kind of the generics of creating a stable position. Okay, see you guys.